Okay. Back in the cut. Let me make sure the framing is all right. Make sure we can see what we gotta see. Okay, so hello everybody. My name is Chris Jenkins and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm an artist, I'm a music producer, I'm a YouTuber now, and I'm based in Los Angeles. And this video today is going to really be about my 1 month review of owning the Roland TR-1000 and just riffing, talking about it, what my experiences are, what my thoughts are generally about the device, what I like about it, what I don't like about it. So yeah, welcome to this long form and stick around to hear my thoughts, ask any questions that you may have, and yeah, let's settle in. I have a list of questions. I had chat generate here just to keep me generally focused. And I think I'll start with the first one it asked. So what did I think when I was buying it, and what did I actually get? Great question. Good question. What did I think I was buying? I thought I was buying just a drum machine, and my intention behind the purchase was a little bit of backstory. I found it on Facebook Marketplace under market retail price. I didn't really have intentions of seeking out a drum machine. I'm a really big fan of synthesizers. I'm primarily a session keyboardist for the music sessions that I go into. If you've watched some of the Vault series, which is a monologue podcast that I have on my YouTube channel, you'll know that for a long time, my biggest weakness in music production and in being in these recording sessions with these artists has been drums and percussion. Of course, I can drag a splice loop in. I can make it work. But generating drums, and arranging drums hasn't been my strongest skill set as a music producer. And of course, I've grown a lot in the almost decade that I've been doing this, but I've always felt that personally. I know that I can do synth lines, I can create chords, melodies, and I can do arrangements. And I've been asked to do that for other artists. But I always knew drums, I always felt a little shaky about. I never led with drums. So, I was in the market, I'd made a little bit of money, and I was thinking to myself, okay, let me just browse around. Let me check Reverb. Let me check Facebook Marketplace. Checked Facebook Marketplace, saw the TR-1000. Thought to myself, wow, all right, what's all that about? Started doing some deep dive on artists that use the TR-1000. A lot of techno. I wasn't a big techno guy. Didn't really understand it. Felt like it was kind of weird. Wasn't for me. Didn't speak to me. I'm primarily pop and R&B as a music producer. That's how I came up. Producing, creating for myself and creating for others. So I didn't understand the techno appeal, but I knew obviously Kanye, 808s and Heartbreak is kind of the foundation for artists and music producers bringing really prominent 808 sounds in a novel way into modern day production, right? So whether it's the 808 bass drum or trap hi-hats or just layering sounds of the Roland 808 in their music production. So let's get back to the question. Sorry, I'm rambling. But what did I think I was buying? I thought I was just buying an 808 analog drum machine. What I ended up getting was, of course, Roland's latest analog iteration of this drum machine. But what I believe I got is something that has fundamentally changed the direction of my interest in listening to music and making music. And I've now had this profound interest in techno, house, dub techno, this rhythm-oriented music. It's been so interesting to me, primarily because I can make it now. With the snap of a finger, I can just program bass drum, a snare, toms, low and high, rim shots, hand claps. Like, it's so easy for me to do that with the sequencer here. And so it's been really interesting for me because, if you go far enough back on my YouTube channel, you'll find original songs by me like Courage, X, so on and so forth, where I'm doing primarily a vocal performance over pop and R&B R&B production tracks. But the last month, I've just been doing TR-1000 performance videos and some vlogs, and I just feel like there's been such a fundamental shift in what I'm interested in making. And I'm not fighting it, like I've said. I'm not fighting it. I'm interested in it. If you're along for the journey, welcome. If you're not so interested in this new direction, I completely understand. But this new piece of gear, it's been fun. It's been fun for me to make. And I think the reason it's been so fun is because it's a live performance on these drums. A lot of times I'll be playing the drums. And for example, if I pull up an Ableton session right now, give me 1 second. If I pull up an Ableton session right now, the TR-1000's already preloaded. I can just select a quick pattern, right? It's as easy as pressing play. Boom. We already have a vibe, guys. Right? Okay, we're not going to get lost in creating, but for someone who has struggled with drums for a long time, struggled with rhythm, struggled with percussion, to be able to dive in and have that off the bat, but then to be able to play the drum machine, to ride the faders, play with the filter sweeps, play with the effects knobs, has been so refreshing to me. And I think that has fundamentally tilted my interest in music to these rhythm-oriented genres, to these live performance genres. And so that's where I'm at right now. I thought I was just getting an 808 drum machine. I have acquired a piece of gear that has fundamentally shifted my interest in what I listen to and what I create with music. And so that's been really fun. Another question. What did the first few days feel like compared with week 4? First few days, I felt like just a little overwhelmed, to be honest. I didn't know how to make this mine. I'm still very early in the process. It's only been 1 month of me having this piece of gear. First few days were just using a lot of the preset patterns that came loaded with the TR-1000. So it was just exploring, okay, how can I live and play with the presets, and just let me start there, right? So a lot of my short form and some of the earlier long form has been exploring what this device came with, right? Exploring some of the scatter filter effects that I've included in some of my performance pieces, exploring some of the morph options, the fill-in trigger elements. That's what it's been super fun with. And by week 4, I'm really starting to craft sounds. What's been great about this device is, as much as it is a rhythm creator, it's almost like a full-fledged DAW, digital audio workstation. I can create complete, front to end, pause, productions, because this thing does synthesis in a really interesting way. You have full-on amplitude controls, filter controls, synth generation controls. It's pretty crazy. I'm still very early in the process, but what has remained constant from the first few days to the next ensuing weeks has been my excitement every single time I turn this on. And maybe that has been the most valuable takeaway from getting this new device. Is it makes me want to show up every single day and create. How can I be upset at that? There's no beat block for me. I'm not saying gear, should be the crutch anyone leans on to get back into creating, because I do believe you can literally just create with a laptop or an iPhone, and that's it. I've done some short form videos where I'm literally doing YouTube DJ chop samples with the number keys on my laptop, and you can make a beat like that. You can record it into BandLab if you want. You do not need all the gear, right? But man, it's been fun to create. Every time I look at it, I think it's beautiful. It has this really lush, beautiful, metallic, silver gray look going on to it. Makes me want to dive in and make beats. And, what more can I really ask for? It keeps the magic of creating alive. So I love that. Another question. Let me find a good one. Does it encourage performance, commitment, endless tweaking? Yes, of course. Not even a question. What role does it naturally play besides Ableton and the MPC and some of my synthesizers? It just pairs perfectly. It's so easy to connect straight into Ableton. I do have a Behringer ADAT expander so that I can run audio into the ADAT and then into my Apollo Twin. But then you can just arrange that really quickly in Ableton, recording audio in. So that's been very easy. I don't usually run the MPC sample live into Ableton. That's more for just content and creating on the fly if I'm outside, if I just want to make a beat. In my life, that's how I've been using the MPC sample, but I do have a few days in the studio where I've connected it as an audio input into Ableton, and you can definitely record, The only thing, at least with my current setup, is if I dedicate the MPC sample as the audio input, then I lose the ability to run the Apollo Twin, my vocals, some of my synthesizers as their own audio input, So I have to make a choice there. So I've primarily left the Apollo Twin as the primary audio input and just left the MPC sample off as its own thing for me. Let's talk a little bit about, am I choosing sounds differently? Hell yeah. I feel like a lot of times before I would lean on, my existing drum one-shots and drum loops that I've acquired over the years to make some of my drums and percussion sounds. And you end up just recycling the same sort of loops and one-shots that you've accumulated. And it can be kind of a chore to go out and search for new packs. Now, I know you can download a bunch of them on Splice. I know you can generate, if you're that guy or girl or whatever, on Suno. Not a fan of that. It's not fun. But what's great about this is I can endlessly tweak a bass drum kick. I can turn it into like a deeper 808 with a longer decay with literally the tweak of one knob. So I can transform a one-shot kick into a deep resonating 808, and then it just completely changes the production. And so I feel like I have unlimited sounds here and super high quality. Right? I don't even have to mix anything that comes out of here because it has this effects drive. It's almost like this analog glue, which is why they advertise it as an analog drum machine. All the sounds are just glued together. It's so nice. I don't have to spend endless hours mixing the drums together because they're just glued together. That's been fucking dope. Am I partially or partly rationalizing an expensive purchase, or has it genuinely earned its place? I think I'm doing a little bit of both, to be honest with you. I think I am rationalizing the several thousand I spent on this because I'm I want to get my money's worth out of this. It's not cheap. At the same time, I do think it's earning a place in the studio because I'm using it every single day. I am making a long form, even if one person watches this shit, right? For my own creative fulfillment, I am creating so much more and I'm just letting it fly on short form, on long form. And it's been a part of almost every single piece of content I've put out. So as far as, has it earned its place? I think so. And I also do think I'm rationalizing the purchase, but I'm using it all the time. So make of that what you will. Let's see, what else do we have here? Is documenting the month helping me notice changes I otherwise would have missed? I think so. I think just part of me documenting this process and uploading more on YouTube as a long form medium, is doing exactly that. It's helping me document in real time, one, what I'm doing, two, what I'm interested in, and three, it helps me when I look back at the videos, I just reflect on what my taste is at the moment. And I know over time, it'll be interesting to see how this stays constant or how it changes. You know, maybe I hate techno and I'm like, dude, I fucking don't like any of the rhythm 808 stuff that I was doing in 2026. Maybe that'll happen. I have no idea. But I find documenting it and recording it and putting it out for anybody who's watching to be helpful for me, at least as a creative person and as a music guy. It just feels cool to be like, oh, that's what I was doing at this period of time, genuinely. So, let's do two more questions. Does the physical performance aspect of this device help people understand me as an artist? I think it'll help newcomers that are just coming across my content for the first time. Maybe it helps them understand where I'm at currently and say, oh, this guy's kind of into this drum machine 808 sound at the moment. He's leaning into these kinds of genres. I resonate, or maybe you don't resonate, and you can make a quick decision on if you want to see more based on the type of content that you're seeing. So I have been doing a lot of performance pieces, and it's been fun for me to do. I think that is an expression of where, one, my interest is right now. Just being able to stay present and ride the faders on this device and just have fun with it. I think that is genuinely where I'm at. I'm listening to all sorts of like heard in Berghain playlists. I don't know if it's Berghain or Berghain. Detroit, techno classics. Like that's genuinely what I'm listening to when I go to jiu-jitsu, when I'm going to the gym, when I'm just out and about driving. So it's really influenced my taste, and it has also influenced what I'm putting out into the world. So I feel like the physical performance aspect of it, as well as my interest and what I'm showcasing in my content, has definitely, the intention is to showcase, that's where I'm at as an artist, and maybe people receive that. And for those that have been along with me for the journey and were fans of the pop and R&B I started with, maybe they fall off. And maybe they're like, hey, I was only really interested in the pop and R&B stuff. And this new section, I'm unfollowing. I don't really care. And I completely understand that. And I respect it. And there is a natural churn of who is ultimately engaged with your content at any given time. And for those that stick with you throughout the journey, that makes those people that much more special. And for those that join at the current moment, welcome. And to those that leave, I completely understand. And there's no resentment. So, all right, let's do one last question. What parts of this new direction should make it into an actual release? That's a damn good question, chat. I think that's what I'm trying to figure out right now, right? Like I feel this enormous pivot in what I'm interested in. My genre is completely changing, and I'm totally fine with that. I do love being like a vocalist on a track, and again, like my discography up until this point has been as a pop and R&B vocalist, but I have this completely new energy and this completely new identity I feel that's forming, and that's what we're going to find out. And maybe that's a good place to cap the Q&A and recap of my experience with the TR-1000 right now. Is, of course, it's going to be a part of whatever next release, whatever next set of music I'm going to put out. But part of me doing these performance pieces on my YouTube channel is trying to figure out what my taste is. How does this interact with my background to make something unique and original to me, or at least interesting to me? And maybe that resonates with people. I don't fucking know. But you know what? That's where we're at. 2 thumbs up, 10 out of 10. I love it. If you're in the market for this, I think you're going to be really, really stoked. I've been ecstatic about it, and I can't. Yeah, every day I wake up, I'm just smiling, being like, I wonder what we're going to make today. So let's cap it there. Again, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe, leave a comment if you are an owner of a TR-1000, or if you feel like your music taste is being amplified or changed in any way by new gear acquisitions. I'd be curious to find out.